On everybody, welcome back. In this video we are looking at the MLB slate for Friday. We have a huge 13 game slate today starting at 7 o'clock, so let's get started. As always, appreciate if you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Have not been doing a good job of making baseball videos. I'll try to keep doing that, especially once the NBA season is over. We'll have them like basically every day, but right now I'm just doing them at least a few times a week if I can. Looking at the lineups and totals for today, a couple of teams just stick out above the rest. We have a couple of great pitching options today. We have Jacob DeGrom on the hill, Max Scherzer, even though that game looks like it's going to get canceled with the rain. So basically, we have DeGrom as your top end stud. You also have Clayton Kershaw going up against his Texas Rangers team. They have a 2.7 total. We have Shohei Ohtani going. He's only $8,100. You have Woodruff against the Pirates. You have Blake Snell against the Mets as well. So a ton of good pitching options. You probably want to get to at least one of the top end guys. And then I don't mind getting to like $8,100 Ohtani as a value play. Maybe going to like Brady Singer or Cole Irving as just a punt play if you needed to pay up for your bats. In terms of offenses to look at, there's a bunch that look great. My favorite is probably Cincinnati, followed by Houston, and then followed by probably some of the White Sox bats just because they're facing off against a lefty. And then maybe I'll mix in some Dodgers, and then maybe you can throw in some New York Mets and some Cleveland Indians. So a lot of good offenses today. A lot of those teams are facing off against poor pitchers, like the Reds going up against a lefty in Freeland. You know, Castellanos is having a huge season. Suarez mashes lefties, and they have a ton of pop on that team. But going back to DraftKings pitching-wise, like DeGrom is your top stud. You can save some money and go with like a Blake Snell if you wanted to. He's coming off of a dominating performance against this same Mets team. Mets lineup is still a little bit susceptible to left-handed pitching. They have just one lefty in there, but their lineup is just not that. It's just not that powerful at the bottom of the order. Their 7, 8, 9 hitters aren't that powerful. You have McCann in the 3-hole, and you have VR leading off. So with some injuries still they're dealing with, not able to put out their best lineup. That's why I think going to Blake Snell once again makes some sense. Expecting to maybe not put up 38 drafting points again, but maybe at least high 20s, something that's very reasonable. And then I think you definitely can go with like Ohtani as a pretty cheap option. For some reason the Diamondbacks have like a 4+ total. Probably take the under on that. Their lineup, at times they've scored some runs this year, but they are not a very good offense. Minus a couple of hitters, and Ohtani's been awesome this season. Been one of the better pitchers in baseball when he's been out there. It's only his 9th start this year, but he has 60 strikeouts in just 42 innings, and only given up 4 home runs in those 42 innings, so not really susceptible to the long ball, and racks up a ton of strikeout upside. He's another guy with 30-point upside at a very good price tag. So going with these two still leaves you with $4,000 plus left on your bats, and one guy at first base, if you're looking to save some money that we can go ahead and use, is Bobby Bradley. He is only $2,800. He's only making his 4th start. Probably making his our 4th game of the season. He started a couple of games for them. He's been solid. Should be here against a right-handed pitcher. Whether he hits 6th in lineup or hits like 7th or 8th, I still think he looks like a great value play. He was min-priced earlier, and he's priced a little bit more expensive, up to 28, but he gives you some power. He gives you some. Already has 3 extra base hits in his just 10 at bats. So gives you some pop. Maybe he can get some RBIs. Maybe hits one over the fence and becomes like the best value play at first base, if that does happen. So I gotta like him at just because he's super affordable. And then I look to maybe like a Max Muncy. Even though he's expensive, we can go to Abreu. Always a good option against a lefty, even though he is very expensive. And then if you're looking at the Reds, it's a lefty, but Votto would be, if you're looking to stack them up, lefty isn't the best, but if you're stacking the Reds, he would be fine. Over at second base, can go to Altuve. Muncy are the top dogs. For value, it's like Jonathan India has a nice play. He's only $4,200. You can go maybe to a Chris Taylor. And then if you needed to punt, basically if any of these guys are batting at the top of the order, they would look fine. Urías has been leading off for them. For the Brewers, he gives you some pop. The leadoff hitter at $3,700, he'd be in play. Third base, you have Jose Ramirez. He's $5,800 going up against Dunn. He's gives you that power and speed combinations. Only 6 stolen bases so far this year, but 14 bombs. Hits both sides of the plate well, and expect him to continue to do some damage. He's been hot recently, batting .306 in his last 10. Third base is absolutely loaded, so you can go Bregman, or even go with some value here if you needed to, and go with maybe like a Suarez at 45. He's affordable. They have one of the highest totals on the slate. Been awful this year in terms of a batting average perspective, but we always want to target him against lefties, and all we're looking for out of him is a home run. $4,500 with them having a high total. I'll take a shot on that happening. Shortstop, it's like Tim Anderson as my favorite play, 51 against a lefty. You can also go more expensive for like a Carlos Correa if you wanted to. I'm definitely not going to be playing Tatis today. Don't think I'll be looking to Trey Turner either, or a Trevor Story. You can go maybe with a pretty hot Chisenholm at $4,600, even though the matchup isn't the best, but he gives you a lot of speed if he happens to get on base. And then Gavin Lux would be a decent value play. He's only $3,600. And then in the outfield, basically looking at the Reds, Astros, some of those top-end teams to stack and to target. First guy has to be Castellanos if you're looking at any Reds players, just because he's awesome against lefties. He's been having an awesome career year this year, .357 with 12 bombs. Even recently, he's been hot with .357 in his last 10. Gotta like him. He's not even expensive either. 48 when you have guys like 55 to 6K plus. Given the season he's been having, he should be at least as expensive as those guys. And the last guy is Yordan Alvarez. He's $4,200. Want to get to at least one Astro, and Alvarez is a perfect guy with the power that he possesses. You also have, he's been hot recently as well, and you also have like Brantley if you wanted to go to another Astro. You have Tucker as well. But this is pretty much it for the DraftKings side. On FanDuel here, pitching-wise, DeGrom is $12K. You can go down to like Ohtani's priced a bit more expensive, so he's $95. But Blake Snell's only $9,200. I will definitely like that price tag on Blake Snell. And then it's basically kind of just looking at the same teams I mentioned. Yordan Alvarez is $37. He's pretty nice to get to if you wanted to. And the outfield spot, going back to Castellanos, I want to try to get to him as well. He's $42. He's expensive, but going to Blake Snell instead of DeGrom will allow you to pay up for at least a couple of more bats in the outfield or any other position that you needed to. Bobby Bradley is probably super inexpensive. He's $2,500. If he's in the lineup today, I think he looks like a guy we can look to. And then the last guy here, we can plug in utility maybe, is like Jose Abreu, just because he is super inexpensive going up against a lefty. He's only $3K when you would expect him to be at least like 35, close to $4K in this type of matchup. He looks like my favorite White Sox on FanDuel to target. And that's basically it for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Best of luck today. See you all next time.